Nobody asks, but we give you our opinions. Acknowledge us like Roman Reigns to all his minions. Coming from the grave like our name was Undertaker. Women's wrestling is cool, but where the hell is Britt Baker? Coherence takes abandon all hope. We talk shit like Ricochet from the top rope. We are marks, sometimes we're friendly. Sometimes we show our whole ass like Mandy. We are discussing what is the latest. Jericho is the GOAT, but Sid is our favorite. We are marks. We are marks.
What's going on, Marks? Welcome back to the podcast. It's the We Are Marks podcast. Why? Because we are Marks. I'm your host. My name is Ram, Robin, Bob. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, America?
How is everybody doing out there?
Oh, it is another beautiful week to be a wrestling fan as we have multiple pay-per-views to watch. 2 to be exact. 3 if you want to count NXT. I'm not sure who's watching it, but somebody's got cable. Somebody's tuning into the CW, and somebody is watching this NXT pay-per-view. Honestly, I would totally watch it if I had a way to watch the CW. How do you watch the CW?
Cable.
With cable.
That's the only way.
Yeah. Is Tony D'Angelo still the champion? And is he facing? Who's he facing?
He's facing Io Sky's husband. What's his name?
Oh, the guy from New
Evil.
Japan. Evil. I
He
don't know what they
was
call him,
evil,
but he was evil in New
Now
Japan.
it's something Japanese.
But evil is coming is the tagline, isn't it?
I guess.
I know that Tony D'Angelo got hit in the face with a fireball when he opened his contract. So
That's pretty evil.
Yeah.
Evil. Okay.
The joke was that that's exactly what happened to Keith Lee back in the NXT days. Could be the fire that sparks the match to the end of Tony D'Angelo. Very interesting. All right, we do have a whole lot of pay-per-view to get to, though. It is a prediction show. As we run through them, as always, let's talk about the story, what we expect to happen, what we hope will happen, and what's going to piss us off when it probably does happen. We'll start it out with the first in chronological order, which is Night of Champions. First and foremost, do you guys remember when Night of Champions was every championship gets defended? And I know they have way too many championships to do that with now, but I mean, neither Intercontinental Championship is being defended. Neither Tag Team Championship is being defended. One of your world titles isn't being defended. It's kind of like, how are we calling this Night of Champions? They should just call it the King and Queen of the Ring Finals. That's what they should call this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I totally agree. The name comes across as silly when you really only have a couple championship matches. It used to be all of them. But also, and I actually tweeted this out today, what happened to true B pay-per-views? I feel like we call things B pay-per-views now when it's not one of the core. This is like, and AEW's pay-per-view is not much better. This is like a C show. I feel like it used to be, these pay-per-views between the big ones used to have a little something going on. And I just feel like now it's kind of these C, not very interesting, tread in the water pay-per-views for months until you get to SummerSlam or WrestleMania. And I don't think that's right. Certainly not helping the product.
So to your point, yeah, it is a B show, but you also got to remember there's now 5 top tier A shows for WWE now, if we're going to include Money in the Bank. And yes, they shouldn't have called it Night of Champions, but there is things of intrigue here. I mean, we got 2 King of the Ring and Queen of the Rings to figure out the number 1 contender in SummerSlam. And that's pretty much it. But maybe
so
hold on. But maybe Sami Zayn does win this title somehow. And that's how Obafemi gets his title at SummerSlam. I'm just saying. But it is a B1, but when you got 5 world-class shows that you say are world-class, whether or not they are is irrelevant. Yeah, these are going to look kind of bad. I'm just upset that there's one title being defended right now.
Well, I'm not even talking about comparatively
there's
comparing to the A shows. I'm just saying I don't even think this is, a $10 pay-per-view.
there's three titles
I
being defended. First and foremost, there's three titles being defended, so that's one thing. But to your point, um, first of all, it was kind of funny that you said there's five big pay-per-views if you want to include Money in the Bank, and I was thinking there's five big pay-per-views if you want to include Survivor Series, but that's a whole nother conversation. Um, Three
What
titles
are
are
the other? Oh, because Money in the Bank is bigger than Survivor Series. That
yeah.
is
Well, more happens on Money in the Bank than
gotcha.
Survivor
That
Series.
makes sense. Yeah.
But it kind of feels like they have their big pay-per-views that they sell out for, and then the ones in between are kind of just throwaway. Aside from, I mean, looking at this card, there's two matches that kind of seem very just thrown together, and then the Queen and King of the Ring, and then the other two are pretty storyline driven. So it's interesting, but two of them do just feel like throwaways, and the pay-per-views just kind of feel like throwaways to the point that, like, we talk about Saturday night's main event and how WWE has kind of just trained us to expect absolutely nothing from them. I kind of get the same vibe from these secondary pay-per-views too, where it's, they're kind of training us to expect nothing. So when something does happen, we have a bigger reaction about it because we expected nothing and got something. So, like Rob said, maybe Sammy does pull it out somehow, maybe Gunther, I have no idea, but
So
go
I'm
ahead.
I'm trying to go back on like the two major titles for men's. When's the last time that one of them changed hands at one of these pay-per-views? It might have been the Fiend in 2019. Because usually they change hands on your big five.
Yeah,
That's it.
timeline wise,
Well, I mean, technically, depending on how you view a vacant title, Punk did win the title at Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, but I'm talking the PLEs, like the backlashes and the whatever this one, Night of Champions. It's been a long time.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure it has. I would really have to go and look physically look to find one because off the top of my head, I got nothing. Maybe the women's championship at some point. Not really sure, but yeah, to your point, like I said, kind of being trained to expect nothing. So if they give us something
Right.
good, if they give us one thing good here, then Wednesday night we'll have something good to talk about. But we'll see. Let's start out talking about it. We'll talk the first two matches, which feel like the most thrown together matches. They're both for U.S. championships. Trick Williams is defending the U.S. title against Ricky Saints.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for Trick to get a win, defend the title. I do feel like this title reign, unfortunately, has been a little lackluster compared to kind of the feeling he had um, at the Elimination Chamber into WrestleMania. But hopefully, hopefully he can pick up some steam. I think it'll probably lead to more with Carmelo since they did have that match on Friday for this shot. I think he'll get back in the mix, and the triple threat might be the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, I don't even want the triple threat. I just want Carmelo versus Trick Williams. Screw Ricky Saints. I mean, he just it doesn't do anything for me. He never has done anything for me. Yeah, we just talked about how this is a filler pay-per-view and not much is happening. Trick Williams should definitely win this match, and we should get Carmelo versus Trick Williams at SummerSlam. That'd probably be the best mid card match you can have at this point.
It'd be the best mid card match you can have involving Trick Williams as the U.S. champion. Yeah, absolutely. Trick Williams better for the love of God win this match. I see absolutely no redeeming qualities in Ricky Saints. I mean, absolutely no offense to Ricky by that. He's just. I was looking at this past week on Raw, Ethan Page, and he's like the guy that I'm like. You hear people talk about AEW fumbled this guy, WWE fumbled this guy. I feel like AEW really missed with Ethan Page. They had something here, and maybe it's because character wise he's a little bit he's like MJF light, but they fully missed. That guy's incredible, Whereas Ricky Saints, like Rob said, does absolutely nothing for me. He has like this forced charisma that is so not believable. Whereas it's so funny because he's not bad in the ring at all. He's like the opposite of Trick Williams. Whereas like Trick Williams is green in the ring, but he has charisma you cannot teach. And then Ricky Saints seems like someone who has charisma, but gets no reaction because it's so forced that we can't buy into it. So
When I see Ricky Saints, I see a guy that's trying to be The Rock, and I don't think trying to be something ever resonates with the crowd when you've seen the real thing.
Yeah, as Ram said, I feel like he's just trying way too hard to get over, that it comes off as you are fake.
it comes off
Like,
corny. It comes off so
right.
corny.
Exactly.
It's tough. Absolutely, Trick Williams better win this match. No two ways about it. Women's U.S. Championship. Tiffany Stratton is defending against Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I think Tiffany retains. This is just one of those matchups to me that just makes me feel like Triple H is bankrupt of ideas. I mean, we just saw this feud for the women's title. Now we're going to do it for the United States Championship. I just feel like they need to freshen things up, and if it's moving people around, we've talked about that. That'd be better. But we've seen this match. I expect Tiffany to get her win back. She's doing the stuff with Chelsea. I think that's going to lead to something or lead to more, not her losing the title Saturday night. And it seems like Jade's kind of on the downswing until they build her back up.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite here. I'm taking Jade Cargill because Tiffany Stratton has been terrible in the ring. She's done nothing with this belt. You put it on Jade Cargill, at least that's a monster that people can go after. And she's not the greatest in the ring, but she's, as Ram has always said about Jade Cargill, she is a presence. And she would be a much better United States champion than Tiffany Stratton, who keeps getting worse in the ring. I wouldn't mind seeing Tiffany Stratton go back to NXT and try to figure out what the hell she's doing wrong.
She's got that new boy toy. She's preoccupied.
Yeah, well.
If I'm not mistaken, Jade and the gang theoretically, in theory, cost Charlotte Flair in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it would make sense, speaking of running back a feud we've already seen, it makes sense for Charlotte to either A, cost her this match, or B, fight her for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. I think the latter makes more sense. Not a fan of Tiffany Stratton, never was. I think she surprised me with how good she was doing for a period of time, and that feeling has fully gone away from me. I'm going to take Jade. I'm going to take Jade to win this match, and I'm going to take Jade and Charlotte to happen at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. And maybe there you go. Charlotte Flair gets a title win. It's the U.S. title.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Just like you guys predicted. All right, we're heading to a steel cage match. Can't believe this is still happening. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker inside the steel cage.
I can't think of one good reason Seth Rollins should win this match. Braun Breaker should win this feud. I know he's had some ups and downs, but he's still part of the future of the company. He's a young guy, talented. He should not be losing this feud. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe part of the bloodline gets involved with the question marks on who Roman's going to face at SummerSlam. Maybe they cost Seth. And then we get Seth and Roman at SummerSlam, but either way, I'm going Braun wins.
Okay, I'm just confused on why the bloodline would want anything to do with Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, because that hasn't really been a feud in 2 years at this point. With that being said, I agree that Braun Breaker shouldn't be losing matches and things like that. But I do believe Seth Rollins will be facing will be facing Roman Reigns. somewhere down the line. So I do believe that Seth Rollins wins. Wow, my brain just shut off. I'm sorry, guys. My brain shut off. Seth Rollins wins.
This is the perfect environment for Braun Breaker to do what he's best at, and maybe turn a corner here in the public opinion of me. Which is to just be violent. When was the last time we saw a truly violent steel cage match?
It's been a while.
You know, it's been a while. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to see Seth Rollins like get speared through the wall or something like that. That's more of a Hell in a Cell thing, but you know what I mean. Just like incite some goddamn violence and get me excited. I'm going to take Braun Breaker to win, just like Bob. It makes a lot of sense. And Seth Rollins, again, is to the point in his career where he can lose this match and still have a title match next month. It can absolutely happen. I don't know if that's a SummerSlam opponent because, well, you know what? I guess we have seen plenty of guys lose their match and then still somehow be the number one contender plenty of times in wrestling over the past several years. So it's very possible. I am going to take Braun Breaker here, though, in a violent match. That's what I'm hoping for.
Let's hope so.
And, you know, WWE violence, not AEW.
Kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Kendo sticks and tape.
And toolboxes, apparently. Somehow a toolbox will get in the match.
A toolbox will get into it. Yeah, for sure. Seth will probably have like a bulletproof vest on, like Bret Hart did with Goldberg.
Yeah.
A steel plate.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if they did that?
Okay.
Bret Hart would lose his mind.
I genuinely can't believe that this feud is still going on. One thing that we didn't talk about, and I feel like giving some flowers to Logan Paul for having that injury and getting back on TV. We don't often see too many guys like Chelsea Green did it, and she's fully capable of doing it just because of how generally entertaining she is without wrestling. And I suppose Logan Paul is in a very similar boat where he doesn't have to wrestle. We can still hate his guts, and he's doing a great job. So kudos to him for, you know, getting injured and getting back on TV. A lot of respect for that.
I'm probably saying it wrong, but it was a hilarious line on Monday when he said he was going to heal faster than anybody that's ever healed before.
Yeah, for all the people that talk shit about Logan Paul, just remember that this man has been doing this for 4 years full time now. Like, he does care about this business.
Yeah, mad props. Mad props to Logan Paul. That's sick. Let's go Queen of the Ring, Liv Morgan, Io Sky.
I'm going to go with Io Sky. I think that Io wins. I think Liv will show up to Raw or SmackDown whenever Io does the decision, scared that she's going to have to face her again. And then Io will choose Rhea and turn her back on her, and we get the match that we've been sort of anticipating for a while now, Io and Rhea at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you know what I want? I agree with you. I'm taking Io Sky. I don't want Io to turn her back on Rhea. I want Rhea to turn her back on Io. And I want the Eradicator back. Can we please, for the love of God, make Rhea Ripley what she's best at, and that's the Eradicator. Make her a heel. For the love of God. She's so good at it. Just do it.
You're both right and both wrong at the same time. Io Sky absolutely does win this match. However, the match between Io and Rhea will be built 100% on their mutual respect for each other, and they will have a straight up match that will be an absolute barn burner that Rhea will win, and they will hug afterwards.
See, I want Io to win that match, and I want Rhea to turn on her. Give me the gun. Just give me the Eradicator.
Hey, I mean, maybe that could be what happens, and Rhea just gets so fed up that she can't beat Io that she's like, "Fuck it, I can't be your friend."
Right.
Of course, you want to be my friend. You always beat me.
Right. Give me the Eradicator.
That's interesting. I don't think that's what's going to happen though. But we'll predict that when SummerSlam comes around. The finals of the King of the Ring. This one's interesting. Not sure. Obafemi Jey Uso. Who wins and who they facing at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I mean, this is seems easy, but tough at the same time because I just keep thinking about one of these guys is going to have to theoretically main event a night of SummerSlam. It's the same feeling I have towards the main event of this pay-per-view, and I feel as though Obafemi, I know there's some questions about ticket sales, and I just don't see Jey Uso being the guy that's going to make night one of SummerSlam interesting. But all that said, I don't think Oba's going to win. I think there will be some shenanigans, and I think Jay ends up winning the match.
Okay, Rob, before you talk, I have a question, a follow-up question for Bob. So if the prediction is Jey Uso wins and he goes on to face, assuming Cody, maybe one of the other two wins the match, not sure what your prediction is, but let's say it's Cody. What's Roman doing at SummerSlam?
I think Roman Reigns is facing Seth Rollins.
Okay, Rob, what's your prediction?
Obafemi wins. And I'm going to hold off my prediction of what happens next. Obafemi wins. Let's get to the next one.
Okay. Well, I wanted to follow up.
There will be more follow up, but I need the other prediction for the follow up.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with my prediction from last week, and I think Jay wins this because Brock Lesnar interferes in the match. Okay, Rob, main event. You can go first because I want to get this follow up question in. Main event: Sami Zayn, Gunther, and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Hear me out. This is some hardcore fantasy booking that just might work. Gunther and Cody Rhodes have a banger of a match after they lay out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, after the last minute, after Gunther gets hit with a crossroads, throws Cody Rhodes out of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn is your champion.
Okay, here's my go ahead.
All right, hold on now. Sami Zayn is the proud champion. Yay, I finally did it. Yay, yay. And at the end of Night of Champions, you just hear the sirens. And Brock Lesnar stares him down. And on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar beats him in 7 seconds to make everyone forget about Kofi Kingston losing in 8 seconds. Brock Lesnar beats him in 7 seconds, becomes the champion. Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, main event, SummerSlam in Minnesota. Brock Lesnar's last match. Book it, punter. Book it, Hunter.
Yeah, so here's my only issue with that. Is that Oba has already let us know that he wants to challenge Roman Reigns when he wins the King of the Ring. Why would we have planted all those seeds for Brock Lesnar to come and be the opponent?
Because Brock Lesnar keep calling him a bitch.
Brock Lesnar didn't call him a bitch. Oba called Brock a bitch.
What if Brock Lesnar just keeps F5ing him? Just shows up F5, shows up F5. Oba's trying to get some food at McDonald's or something, in the drive-thru. Pulls him out of the car, F5s him on the car. Look, man, this is my fantasy booking. I'm 2K26 in GM mode. This is what we're doing. Sami Zayn wins, loses to Brock Lesnar, Brock and Oba at SummerSlam.
He's at the fucking Wendy's. All right, interesting. Bob, what's your prediction for the main event?
Well, I feel pretty confident Gunther's not going to win the match. I think storyline-wise, I do feel like it would make sense that Sami Zayn would win. He has been sort of the focal point of the last couple weeks of SmackDown. He did screw his way into this situation by messing up the match. But going back to my last point, do I think Sami Zayn, especially versus Jey Uso, is going to main event night one of SummerSlam? No, I do not. I think that Cody Rhodes is going to find another way to win, and we will get Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso with the bloodline and the Roman Reigns factor and all that crap in hopes that that makes it a big enough main event for SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, you still got to do your prediction. I forgot.
Yeah, I think Cody's going to win. I think he's going to face Jay, and I do think that's going to be. No, I think that is your SummerSlam opening match. Cody Rhodes against Jey Uso. I think that's your SummerSlam opener. Because I still do think that Brock and Oba is the main event of night 2, actually, not night 1. I think it's the main event of night 2. And then Roman defends, Rollins probably is the guy to main event night 1. That's what I think is going to happen.
I like mine better.
Yeah, I'm just, that's I don't know, and maybe my brain is broken from watching WWE, but there's no part of me thinks they're going to do the right thing.
We can still have the Roman versus Oba match at Crown Jewel for that giant green title. And then Oba can beat Roman Reigns to solidify himself as the ruler.
The Jolly Green title.
Just saying.
All right. Yeah, so that's Night of Champions. Very interesting. That is at 2:00 in the afternoon, I think, over here on the East Coast. So, tune in for that Saturday. I'll have to watch it on tape delay, like always, but we'll get to it. One other note from WWE before we give AEW the rest of our time. The Street Profits are back, and they are the new tag team champions. This is great. Obviously, I'm happy for the Street Profits. I'm just kind of a little bit curious why this title match wouldn't take place on Night of Champions. That's kind of my one thing is that, like, we got this pay-per-view called Night of Champions, and 8 days before it, we have a title match, and the title changes hands. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wasn't expecting them to become the tag team champions. Part of me actually thought that somehow Ford and Rollins would become the tag team champions when Dawkins was taken out. I think overall it's good. The Profits are a great team and hopefully used to elevate this division and become a strong tag team. That said, this belt has been pretty consistently used as a prop for storylines that are dubbed more important. So I'm not totally optimistic, but definitely having the Profits as champions is a plus.
I mean, at least they're a real tag team. They've always been a real tag team. They're a good tag team. So they said they wanted to, I find it funny that they got rid of all the tag teams, said they wanted to build up the tag team division. And then the Vision, who are a bunch of singles stars, are running the tag team. So we'll see what happens next. Who is the SmackDown champions?
Priest and Truth.
Oh, there you go.
Bringing
They're
the
still
Judgment
tag team
Day.
champions?
Are they?
Yeah, and Finn Balor escaped Raw to avoid to get away from the Judgment Day just to restart it on SmackDown.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. But yeah, so step in the right direction for the tag teams.
Bob, you always say that Adam Pearce is bad at his job. Nick Aldis is dreadful because he can't book a show.
That I'll be honest, Nick Aldis is my man. I think he's done a fine job for the most part. Last week did not handle himself well. The whole Sami Zayn situation, some of the booking of the show. My man lost his touch for a week. Hopefully we can get this thing back on track.
Well, he's going to book a great show next Friday when Brock Lesnar faces Sami Zayn in the main event.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. Let's talk some AEW. We also have Forbidden Door this weekend. Gosh, do you remember the first Forbidden Door? Since we're bitching about the names of pay-per-views, do you remember the first Forbidden Door where it was like, I'm seeing all these New Japan guys I've never seen before, and it was like so intriguing, an AEW guy against a New Japan guy. We have a little bit of that crossover here, but by and large, this is just an AEW pay-per-view now. And it kind of is like, I don't know, maybe drop the Forbidden Door thing. Maybe start calling it something else.
Yeah, especially because right off the bat, and I feel like it's happened a couple other times. There's no IWGP title match or anything like that. I mean, I know New Japan's kind of lost some of its luster, but
Well, New Japan lost some of its luster because AEW offered way too much money for all their stars and they have no one left. By the way, guys, I know we don't really talk about the business side on this, but New Japan got sold to new people. This might be the last time New Japan's in Forbidden Door. So, yeah, what little stars they have are over here, but they're the same stars we see every year. Like we've been seeing them for 6 years now. So, I mean, Forbidden Door, cool, but when you bring these guys over 2 or 3 times a year to wrestle other guys, it's not really a Forbidden Door anymore now, is it?
I mean, there's really only a couple that are even on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, Zack Sabre Jr.,
And we
Decla's facing someone from Stardom, I believe.
Zack Sabre Jr., Shota Umino,
Mm-hmm.
Starlight Kid, which is, I don't even know if that's a New Japan. I think that's a Stardom gal.
Yeah, that's what I said. She's in Stardom. Decla's facing her. She's from Stardom.
Yeah, so I don't know, but as I'm looking at this match card I wrote down, I realize it's incomplete because there's a match that's not on my list that I know is happening. All right, here we go. This is the official match card. Let's hit it. We'll start it out with the stupidest match on the card, which is going to be the main event, which is a steel cage match between Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Konosuke Takeshita, Darby Allin against MJF, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jack Doyle, Jake Doyle, Kazuchika Okada, and Andrade El Idolo.
yeah,
That's 12 people in a steel cage. Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's going to be chaotic. I'm going to go with Max's team. This is building up for a Dynamite title match, I assume. I think if you're going to do that, I think there's more interesting people than Mark Briscoe to have the match with. And I think they're on MJF's team. I think that the person who wins the match, I'm going to predict either Kevin Knight or Andrade. I think Andrade, and I think Andrade finally puts his foot down, challenges Max, gets his match with Max, which to me is a bigger one than likely a throwaway title match against Mark Briscoe.
I mean, it's going to be a throwaway match either way. You did not make Mark Briscoe cut a 2-minute promo about Jesus and his brother for him not to have a title match. So I'm going to take Briscoe's team and he gets his Dynamite main event or wherever they're having their next pay-per-view at. So
well, not only that, this is the biggest waste of time ever if Mark Briscoe's team doesn't win. The
exactly.
biggest, stupidest. I actually hope to God this isn't the main event. I hope to God this goes on first, but of course, since 12 people in a steel cage, it's probably going to go on last. But that is the biggest wet fart in church of a main event for a pay-per-view. I watched Jinder Mahal win the WWE title against Randy Orton, and I know I joke about how much I loved it, but this is a stupider fucking main event than that, and that was a backlash.
And that's my problem with this. Anything that had a remote storyline behind is in this 12-man main event. So it's not even going to sit there and, unless they do storytelling in the ring, which I highly doubt because there's 12 of them in there, the storylines aren't advancing or anything like that. This is just chaos for chaos sakes again.
Yeah, big time. I got to take Briscoe's team to win, and MJF and Briscoe to have a title match probably next week on Dynamite. And who knows? Maybe Max will get there, and an hour before the pay-per-view, Renee Paquette will be like, "Hey, Max, what do you think about your title match tonight?" And he'll completely ignore her and act like he has no idea he has a title match tonight. And then he'll come out and he'll get squashed by Briscoe in about 2.5 minutes. And Briscoe will be the champion. He'll defend the title on Collision and the YouTube show, if that still exists, and Dynamite 6 times in a row. And then MJF will beat him again, and we'll waste another period of time with the championship. Just so we can say MJF is now a 4-time champion before the age of 30.
I will say this, and I don't want this to happen either because I don't even want this main event to happen. But if they really are going to do Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at All In, there is a good chance Mark Briscoe wins this title for 2 weeks.
Bro, so what you're saying to me is that they will put the title onto Mark Briscoe, a bona fide babyface, and then have Kenny Omega beat him? Come on.
Yeah.
Come
Okay.
on.
Okay. And also, if that is the case and we're getting Omega versus Ospreay at All In, is that not babyface versus babyface? Do you really think they give a damn?
I don't see why we would book that match anyway.
I don't either, but here we are.
It should be Ospreay and MJF. That should be your main event. We should not question it.
It should be, but here we are.
I don't need to see the walking corpse of Kenny Omega hold the title. Not at all. So anyway, let's talk some more bullshit. Okay, here we go. We got a 3-way tag match with no stipulation at all, but it's L Sky Team. Maybe they're in Stardom. No, that's a women's thing. Maybe they're in CMLL. Maybe they're in New Japan.
Yeah.
Don't know. Never heard of them. Also, we have Unbound Co. Don't know who they are either. Could be New Japan. Could be CMLL. Don't know. Never heard of them. And they are taking on the Young Bucks. I do know who they are.
Well, it's the Bucks on pay-per-view, so I'm sure it'll be a great match. I expect the Bucks to win. I think it's going to, the rebuild up to them getting to All In. I have heard of El Sky Team, and obviously Mystico's in it, so in that team, so he's great. So I'm sure they're going to be doing some crazy shit, but obviously this is kind of your sickos. We're just going to have a crazy, great tag team match.
Yeah, it's a chaos for chaos's sake. The Young Bucks are in there with a bunch of high flyers. Has there even been like promo for this, or are we just like having a match? Like, is there even a story behind this other than
it's on Collision? No, because I've watched Dynamite and this has never been discussed.
right? Like, you just told me those teams, and I know El Sky because Mystico's on it, as Bob said, but I didn't know that they were at Forbidden Door. So I have no idea what's going on here or why this match is happening other than it's happening. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Young Bucks because we're gonna get a triple threat at All In.
It's possible it happened on Collision. I didn't watch Collision, but I became aware of this match sometime last weekend. So maybe it was on Collision. I don't know.
I became aware of this match 5 seconds ago. Next we have, I'm taking the Young Bucks only because it's the only team I've ever heard of. The next match is for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Pac is the challenger against Shota Umino. Pac doesn't win.
That was me flipping a coin.
Pac doesn't win match. Pac does not win match.
Yeah, I would say Shota wins. It's really all I got. I don't know.
Yeah, if it was anybody else but Pac, but Pac's not going to win this match. Then again, I haven't seen Pac win a match in a while, so maybe he's like, nah, I need to win a title, or else, I'm not going to show up for 3 months again.
I'm not sure that they have the jurisdiction over a New Japan Championship to be like, I'm winning this title. That's number one, especially with, again, Bob mentioned that they were just bought by new people. I saw recently the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion was like, absolutely not defending this on that show. That's not our show. I'm not doing it. So it seems like there's a strained relationship between the two companies at this point, and the fact that this match is even happening, I can't imagine that an AEW wrestler is going to win a New Japan title on this show. And Pac does not win big matches. Does not happen. Pac is going to lose. It's going to be very fun because Pac is fantastic. I don't know too much about Shota Umino, but I'm sure he's good. So I'm sure.
I am aware with Shota Umino that he and Moxley at one point were a team and or partners, maybe not a tag team necessarily in New Japan, so they could play off of that.
There you go. Oh, we're running through the matches here. Tekla is defending the Women's World Championship against Starlight Kid, who, again, I have never seen wrestle before.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on Starlight Kid, but I have heard the name. So, and I know Stardom puts out some pretty good matches from what I've heard. So I expect this will be a good one. I think Tekla wins, keeps it rolling. Obviously for that all-in match, but should be another good one.
Yeah, good match. Thekla wins. I don't know who Starlight Kid is, but she's not taking the title from AEW. So I don't think anybody has ever lost an AEW title at Forbidden Door. Ever.
I don't know.
Again, I'm throwing things out there and making you guys think tonight, but I'm pretty sure that nobody's ever lost an AEW title at Forbidden Door.
Sounds like a real fact.
And if it was, it's against somebody who has shown up on AEW on a monthly basis, so it technically is still in AEW.
Tekla is the breakout star of 2026. She has blossomed into an absolute superstar in the women's division for AEW. Kudos to them for signing her to a contract. She will absolutely win this match. I'm sure Starlight Kid will get the leg up here and there, but overall, I think Tekla dominates.
Yeah.
Which will bring us to the Owen Cup Women's Division Championship. Mercedes Moné, this is who's going to face Tekla at All In. Mercedes Moné against Maya World, who got here via upset victory.
Yeah, I think Mercedes obviously is going to win this match. We talked about it last week. All In, your big show, got to have the star in that star spot. So Mercedes keeps it rolling.
Yeah, this should have been Mercedes versus Athena, but I guess you wanted to make Mercedes Moné the heel again, so beating up her protege and putting her through the ringer, I guess we'll do that. Anyway, Mercedes winning.
Yeah, Mercedes winning. Don't need to divulge any more into that. There is little to zero chance Maya World is going to be in the women's world title match at All In. It will be Mercedes. Certified, guaranteed, put the stamp on that one. The AEW Tag Team Championships are being defended. Cage and Cope against the Dogs, Finley and Connors.
Yeah, I've actually, this isn't some crazy main event, go out and buy the pay-per-view for this feud type of deal, but I have enjoyed it. I think Cope and Christian as a team, obviously Hall of Fame tag team, they're great. And, in some ways it's what AEW needed, especially with FTR taking some time off to have that stronghold of a team that knows what they're doing, can go out there, cut the promos and everything. And I think they've done a nice job with that, giving a little shine to the Dogs who need it and have potential. And, maybe this time next year, we're talking about the Dogs winning a tag team championship, but it's not going to be Sunday night. Cope and Christian keep it moving to All In.
Yeah, again, they brought over David Finley, and I don't think he's won a match yet. And if he has won a match, he hasn't won a feud. He ain't winning this one either. Cage and Cope are gonna win it.
Yeah, Cage and Cope. Cage and Cope. That would still be a win for Cage and Cope. Cage and Cope win for sure. I was gonna say FTR is gonna get lead to a disqualification, but that would be for Cage and Cope to win. So
I did want to say one thing about this match. I forgot that I have heard some rumor about, or some people fantasy booking, the Dogs should not be added to the potential FTR Young Bucks Christian and Cope match. Honestly, I don't think any tag team, including the New Day, should be added to that match if that's really going to happen. I think New Day should come after All In, but certainly not the time or the place to be adding the dogs to that. That should be the triple threat.
Hell, motherfucking no. Shouldn't be anywhere near that shit.
No. The triple threat is what we've been talking about for 6 months now. Come on.
Well, you have been.
All right, you've been talking about it for 3.
I wasn't referencing you guys. I've just said I've seen some rhetoric online that this could build to somehow some thing at the end of this match would lead to a longer feud that could get them in it. And I think we all agree should not.
I'll pass on the dogs. Thank you very much. A couple matches left. Kenny Omega against Zack Sabre Jr.
I'm going with Kenny. I do believe Kenny and Max are going to be in the main event of the Montreal pay-per-view. We'll discuss who wins that match when the time comes, but I do think that's where we're going. AEW pay-per-view, I think the AEW guy wins, and maybe they'll have another match down the road in Zack Sabre Jr.'s company, and Kenny will give him a win.
Yeah, I'm taking Kenny Omega because, well, Kenny Omega needs to win because he's going to be facing MJF at Redemption or whatever they're calling it. I really wish I could remember what they call this pay-per-view, but they got one more between for All In, and now Kenny Omega is probably going to be that guy. Kenny Omega.
There is another pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. You were right. It's called AEW Redemption.
Yeah, see, and that's perfect for Kenny Omega because this is his redemption.
You nailed it. Yeah.
And it's in Canada.
In fucking Montreal. Kenny Omega's going to win the goddamn AEW World Championship. Yeah, Kenny's going to win. I don't think he should. I think Zack Sabre Jr. should win the match, but Zack Sabre Jr. is not an AEW wrestler, so it doesn't make any sense for him to do so.
Maybe Max will win in Montreal and they'll recreate the Montreal screw job.
And honest to God, I mean, New Japan has been talking so much shit, like real shit about AEW, that I think that Tony Khan's going to try to bury every single one of them.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, they're practically the minor league team for AEW. They're just like, yeah,
right.
They can.
And anybody worthwhile gets snatched up. So,
yeah. I wouldn't want to play ball with AEW anymore. That's why I said I can't believe these guys are on this show, honestly.
This is probably the last time.
Yeah, Kenny Omega, I guess, will win the match. Okay, what should be the main event? Goddamn, it should go on last. It's the match. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland. I'm sure Dave Meltzer will try and give it 7 stars. It's going to be great, but, who's going to win?
Well, my heart wants Swerve Strickland to win because I think he has been great character, and feels to me like a guy that should be main eventing the biggest show. Whereas Will Ospreay, as great as he can be at sometimes, just doesn't. I don't feel it. But obviously, London, I think they're going to pull the trigger, and I think Will Ospreay wins.
Yeah, so here's the problem I have with Will Ospreay. The only reason that we got intrigued about Will Ospreay was because he was with Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley was going to try to teach him how to become a real wrestler. He's still not real wrestling. He doesn't sell. He doesn't do anything. He goes into he Hulk Hogan's it in the middle of a match. Like it's not appealing to me. I do not want the main event that's going to happen at All In to happen. I would much rather have MJF versus Will Ospreay. I would much rather have MJF versus Swerve. Give me a heel versus heel. It's AEW. Who cares? Will Ospreay's winning this match. Kenny Omega's winning that title. We're going to get Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay because Dave Meltzer is going to give it 9 stars in Wembley Stadium, and Tony Khan is going to cut that. Tony Khan is gonna love every second of it because that fanboy in him is gonna be like, "Yay!"
Yeah, totally right. I fully agree with everything both of you said. I want it to be Swerve. I think it should be Swerve. Even if you're gonna have Kenny Omega win the title in Montreal, I still think it should be Swerve.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be Ospreay. It's in London. He's gonna have his big moment, big win. And honestly, like, as frustrated as I get with him, and no selling big spots specifically, he does do things that the average man can't do, and it's a spectacle every time he's in the ring. The crowd goes crazy. There's no denying that Ospreay is over with the vast majority of people who watch AEW. There's just those little things that us marks look at and go, I don't want him to be world champion until he stops doing that shit. And he's just going to continue to do it. And part of me feels like once he wins the title, this partnership with Moxley is going to kind of fade into the background, and we're just going to have Will Ospreay on his own, and we're going to completely lose all the steam that Moxley had given him. You know, Moxley lit the match, and I'm a little afraid that when Ospreay wins the title, he's going to blow that match right out.
And the sad part is, like, you're right. He is one of the best athletes in professional wrestling. He can do things day in, day out that not anybody else can do. But man, to tell a story, because just doing acrobats and stuff like that, tell me a story. Keep me entertained. You literally are just big spot after big spot. You're playing 2K26 and have unlimited specials. That's all you are, man. Like, tell me a story.
I'll be honest, take away the wrestling. I mean, my biggest problem with Will Ospreay is I just don't think he is that interesting of a character. The goofy stuff he says, the the promos, just the character in general doesn't really resonate with me. I think he's kind of annoying. I mean, honestly, I'd relate it to the way I feel about Jey Uso, where I just feel the guy's kind of a goof. He's not really someone you want to root for or root against. Although Jey Uso, I do root against. But with Will Ospreay, it's just, it's not he's a bad guy. He's just kind of an idiot, or at least that's what he plays. And I don't know. I don't really think in the main event of the biggest show for the world title, you get geared up to root for a guy you think is kind of an idiot.
And that's the thing. And like, again, we don't really get into real world drama, but in the real world, he's kind of a douche. Like his tweets and stuff, like he's a douche.
Seems like you would be. Yeah. Doesn't
Yeah, like
hang out.
he takes things very personally. He gets upset about the dumbest things. Like there's just something about him that I just can't get behind at all.
Well, I think if you, for a specific example, you look at that promo last week on Dynamite, where it feels like a try to get people to laugh. You know, he's doing the thing about having
Right.
sex with his wife, and it's like it's trying to get people to laugh. Like he's trying to play this almost Conor McGregor. I don't want to say, you know, I'm not saying it's exactly that, but where you just say outlandish things looking for a reaction. And, you know, again, when you're not the originator or you're not the best at it, you just come across as a guy trying to do something. And that's how it feels with him.
Yeah.
Fully agree with everything that was just said. You know, it probably is going to be Ospreay at the end of All In, like we've been saying, and we're just going to have to live with it. And you know, hopefully he finds his footing somewhere along the way. But the things that he's not good at require practice, and it doesn't seem like they're getting proper practice. They're just kind of put out there. So
yeah,
we're probably going to keep getting much of the same. But anyway,
and they're also very much required as world champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he'd be great mid-Carter national title, blah blah. The world champion, the guy who's supposed to be that guy. Oof. Sorry, man.
Should have been Ospreay and Jack Perry for the national title. That's what it should have been.
Real glass match.
A real glass match, yeah. All right, gentlemen. Anything else from wrestling you guys want to bring up before we close out the show? Perfect. Sounds good. We'll watch these pay-per-views over the weekend, and we will be back in your earways to talk about it next week. And until then, enjoy your wrestling.
We are marks. Bob brought around.